to Cooking with Spring Vegetables. I'm Vicki Retelny, the Registered Dietitian at Form. And if any of you do not know me, I am, one of the dietitians. There are a number of us here at Form, but I'm going to be doing this culinary demo for you all, cooking with spring vegetables. So hopefully you're all enjoying the bevy of spring vegetables that are out there right now. Tonight I'm going to use quite a few spring vegetables, but I want to mention a few, asparagus, carrots. I love radishes in spring, and I'm going to be using peas tonight because I love spring peas this time of year. Also, baby greens. I'm going to be using a baby kale for the Mediterranean salad tonight. So feel free to get creative with spring vegetables. This is the time of year where things are so fresh and crisp. And I love to get creative with coloring the plate. So if any of you have me as a dietitian, I talk a lot about coloring your plate. So it's really important to do so. So welcome everyone. And if you're just joining, this is Cooking with Spring Vegetables. And my name is Vicki. So without further ado, let's get started. The recipes were posted on the in the newsletter and also to the website, I believe, but in the newsletter you get every Monday, you should have gotten the recipes. So I'm going to start with the Mediterranean farro salad. And I'm all about Mediterranean cooking because you use more plant vegetables and plant-based foods when you follow a Mediterranean style of eating. So I love the Mediterranean culture and the lifestyle. So tonight with this Mediterranean farro salad, the first thing you're going to do is make your farro. And if you don't know what farro is, it's an ancient grain. It does contain gluten. So if you need to be gluten-free, you can use something like a quinoa instead of farro. But for purposes of time, I have pre-made the farro. So it's on my stovetop. So I've made my farro. So basically to make farro, you use a cup of, and you'll see, I'll show you, it's like a grainy, nutty whole grain that I absolutely adore. So to make farro, you just use 1 cup of farro to 2 1/4 cups water. And you're going to bring that to a boil, and then you're going to simmer it until it absorbs all the liquid. So really easy, it takes about 20 to 30 minutes. There are quick cooking farros that you can purchase. So if you don't have that much time, you can purchase a quick cooking farro as well. So I pre-made my farro. So what I'm going to do now is I have already cleaned and washed my baby kale. Now, I get a lot of cringing when I tell people, try kale. I get a lot of cringes because kale notoriously is kind of a heavy, thicker leafy green. So a lot of times people feel like, oh my gosh, I don't want to work with kale. It's not easy to work with. I use baby kale because baby kale is smaller, delicate leaves. So you can easily work this into salads. You can saute this. I like to toss it in with other vegetables whenever I can. So this baby kale, I love. It holds up well to dressing too. It's not super soft. It actually is pretty tough. So it holds up really nicely. So I've washed my baby kale. So I'm going to put that into a salad bowl. Okay. And tons of nutrients in kale, as you know. So you're getting tons of iron in kale and many other nutrients. It's a cruciferous vegetable. So it's in the same family as broccoli, cauliflower, Brussels sprouts. So that's why I really tout the benefits of kale. So put that in your salad bowl. And then we're going to add our other ingredients. So I want to make sure you can see this. We're going to add a bevy of ingredients here. Now, you can use any type of vegetables you enjoy, but I love these cherry tomatoes. I'm just going to chop up some cherry tomatoes, toss them right into the salad bowl. The beauty of salads is that it's a 1 bowl situation. You can make this so easily and just toss it into 1 bowl. So I'm going to throw the little cherry tomatoes in here. And you can use larger tomatoes if you like, but I like how delicate the cherry tomatoes are. Okay, so you're going to put those right in there. And then the other thing you got to think about is other vegetables that you enjoy. And this one has cucumber in it, We've got beets that we're going to add, and I've got a little trick with the beets because that's another vegetable that people are a little intimidated by, making beets. So we're going to put our cherry tomatoes in here. And then we're going to add some cucumber. And what I do with cucumber is I don't peel my cucumber. Now you can use mini cucumbers. You can use an English cucumber, which is a little bit of a larger cucumber, but I'm going to use just a regular cucumber. I actually don't peel this. I've washed it in cold water, and I have a dedicated scrub brush that I use for veggies, just lightly with cold water. I wash over this because sometimes they do put wax on these. So I like to really wash it well. And I'm going to actually leave the skin on here because it's going to give it some great fiber. So I'm going to add that. And then you're just going to cut your cube. Now, however you enjoy it, typically I like to say cut it into long strips. And then you're just going to dice it. So you're just going to dice the cucumber. I love to use mini cucumbers for this too. So really tasty. This is going to add some nice crunch to the salad and nice crispness. There's nothing like a cucumber salad on a hot summer day or spring day. We're getting some really nice weather in Chicago. Hopefully you are all too, where you are. So super nice out here. And like I said, if anyone has questions, take yourself off mute throughout the demo. I'd love to answer questions. And so we're going to do cucumbers here. And I like to make them a little bit larger. You can make them really fine and chop them even more fine if you really like them a little bit smaller. So make them thin too, if you like them that way. I'm just going to put our cucumbers in here, and it's going to add such nice crisp color and flavor to this salad. Okay, so you've got our cucumber, and then what we're going to do is top it with some beets. Okay, so beets are interesting in the fact that when you buy a beet, it's a root vegetable. So it takes a while to roast the beet. So as you know, if you've ever roasted beets, it can take some time. What I've done is roasted beets ahead of time, a lot of times, and keep them in the fridge to toss into salads. But tonight, I'm showing you a little trick that I use. I use pre-marinated beets, and these are ready to go. This is from Love Beets. I don't know if anyone's used these. They're amazing. I got these at my local grocer. You can get them at Trader Joe's as well. So you just open this up. They're whole beets that are pre-cooked. And when you look at the label, you'll notice they're just beets. So you're not getting anything. These have been marinated, but you can buy plain as well. These are great for snacking and for salads. So they're ready to chop up and put in your salad. So I just chop these up, put them right into your salad. And these have been marinated. So they're going to add a little different flavor to the salad. So I'm going to make them a little smaller so that they really color this salad well. Okay. So hopefully you're all trying beets. Beets are so good for you, and they contain betalain, which is an amazing antioxidant rich compound, great for keeping us healthy. So what we're going to do is just start tossing gently. Okay. And then we're going to add Kalamata olives. So the Mediterranean region is known for Kalamata olives. So these are already pre-chopped. Now you can buy them whole, already pitted, and just dice them yourself. So put those right in. Okay, so you've got some Kalamata olives. So the Mediterranean is coming out in this with the olives. And then we're going to add some feta cheese. So a little bit of feta goes a long way, I like to say. So just add your feta cheese right on there. Okay, a little more. And then what you can do is toss it and add a little more at the end as well when you're serving it. It looks so pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to add cilantro. So I love to keep my cilantro in a mason jar in the refrigerator. I don't know if anyone else does that here, but it keeps it so fresh. And I keep it in water, and it is a plant. When you think about it, it's perfect. It keeps it fresh much longer, because as you know, who hasn't come home with a bunch of cilantro and then it goes bad the next day? You've got it in the fridge and it's wilted. So anyone in the chat, have you experienced that? So what I like to say is keep it in your mason jar and it keeps it nice and fresh, okay? I love the smell of cilantro. Now, there may be some people on this call that don't like cilantro because I feel like there's either people that love it or people that really detest it. So I happen to really love the smell and the flavor it imparts to various dishes. So I'm going to chop some up, just coarsely chop it right into your salad. Okay, add such nice color. I mean, we see this in many Mexican dishes. Oh my gosh, I love it. It's so tasty and good for you. So I'm just chopping that right in here. So you're going to add your cilantro. And you can also add this at the very end. Like say you pre-make your salad, you've tossed it, add the cilantro at the end. This way it does not go bad, it doesn't wilt. So I like to just toss it in here. Goes so nicely. And you can even turn cilantro into pesto. I don't know if anyone's ever done that, but I've made pesto with cilantro. Such a nice herb. So there you go. That's a little trick that I do. And then I'm going to add another very Mediterranean ingredient, walnuts. Walnuts are jam-packed with omega-3 fats, which are very beneficial for cardiovascular health, cognitive health, super healthy for the cells in our body. So you want to add some walnuts to that. So once again, that Mediterranean flair. And then the piece de resistance, what I like to say, is the dressing. So making your own dressing kind of adds a little flair and fun to this dish. So I have a little salad dressing shaker that I use quite often. So I'm just going to add some extra virgin olive oil. Now, when you're looking for olive oil, look for first cold pressed extra virgin olive oil, because that is antioxidant rich and it's going to give you a lot of those beneficial compounds that you may not get from the ones that are not first cold pressed or extra virgin. So look for that on your label. Okay. So then I'm going to do a 3-to-1 ratio. I'm going to do 3 tablespoons of olive oil, extra virgin, I just mentioned. So in the Mediterranean region, they use a ton of olive oil. So good for cardiovascular health, cell health, fending off certain disease states and cancers. So I love to use olive oil. Okay, so and then we're going to use another amazing ingredient, apple cider vinegar. So when you buy apple cider vinegar, really look for the raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, because you get that cloudy sediment at the bottom, which is actually known as the mother, which actually means there may be and actually should be some probiotics in the apple cider vinegar. So look for the raw, unfiltered apple cider vinegar, because that's going to confer more benefits. So then you're going to do a tablespoon of raw apple cider vinegar. Does anyone use apple cider vinegar here? I hope so. Hope you're all thumbs up if you do. So then, and it's been a medicinal ingredient forever, for centuries. Apple cider vinegar has been notoriously used to fend off many ailments and keep us healthy. So I love to use it when I can. So then you've got your oil and vinegar. I'm going to put a little Dijon mustard. I usually always, whenever I'm making salad dressing, I use Dijon mustard, because it's just such a nice accompaniment and adds such nice flavor to the dressing. And then I want you to see this here. I'm going to put a little bit of shallots, just finely dice your shallot, okay, into your dressing, okay. And I love shallot too in dressings, because once again, it imparts such a nice flavor. And shallot is in the onion family, the allium family, very beneficial for us. So I always like to impart and use something from the onion family, and I love shallots. Plus, it's a nice, rich, purpley color, which adds such nice variety and color on the plate. So hopefully you're all incorporating some shallot, and it's a very sharp smell and odor, which is so tasty in this. So then you're going to add that to your dressing. Okay. So, if you don't like shallot too much, you don't have to add that much. I happen to love it. And you're going to pour it over the whole salad. So it's nice to have quite a bit of it in there. Okay. And then you're going to add a little salt and pepper. I'm just using iodized salt for this recipe. I'm going to use sea salt for the other one. So just adding some salt. I'm going to add some pepper, which is going to be tough with a pepper grinder. It's going to get everywhere. Okay, there you go. So you've got some pepper in there. And then the beauty of this dressing shaker is that you make sure the top is closed. That's the trick. And then you're just going to shake it. Now you certainly can whisk this in a small little bowl. Just take a bowl with a whisk and make your dressing. The beauty of this is if you make extra, you can save it for another salad the next day. So I like to, even if you're on the go with work or traveling, you can bring your salad dressing with you to work and leave it in the fridge. It lasts 3, 4, 5 days. It's going to last in the fridge for at least 3 days. So you're going to add your dressing.
Hi, this is Joanna. We have one question about benefits of farro. Can you elaborate a little bit about?
Yes. Well, farro, as I mentioned, farro is an ancient grain jam-packed with fiber. It's also got iron, magnesium. Farro has a lot of medicinal benefits and through the ages has been used as just an accompaniment to many different types of cuisines. But farro, like I said, is a gluten-containing grain. So if anyone cannot tolerate gluten, it's one to, not necessarily put in the diet, but I love it. It's crunchy, it's nutty, it imparts such body to a meal. Plus, like I said, it's going to give you fiber and a lot of other nutrients. So you want to think about incorporating whole grains whenever you can. 3 servings of whole grain is what I recommend that people get per day. Now, a half a cup cooked is 1 serving. So I recommend that people get 3 half-cup servings in a day, if they can, of whole grain and various forms, whether you're using whole grain bread, farro, say you're using quinoa, they're all going to benefit you from a health standpoint. Good question, though. Hopefully that answered your question. Okay, so we're adding, and it imparts such a hearty flavor to the salad. So the salad, this is the Mediterranean farro salad. Hopefully you'll all try that one. Okay, I'm going to put this right over here. Okay, so any other questions while I'm here in the chat? Anything coming through?
No, we just have a comment from Barbara. I love cooked beets. My husband likes raw in a salads.
Yay! Oh, I love beets. I'm so happy that you use them, Barbara. Yeah, so that's great. Yes, beets come in many different colors. So you can get red, golden beets. Trying to think if I've seen them other ways, but golden and red beets are the primary. But they also come sort of in almost looks like a candy cane swirl beet that has a beautiful, beautiful appearance when you put it into salads. So beets are such an amazing food for you. And as I mentioned, root vegetable that you can incorporate into your diet all year long if you can. And it's nice that you can buy them pre-cooked because I think that does scare people away that they have to spend so much time prepping and roasting and cooking beets when you can buy them already pre-cooked and marinated, which is really nice. Okay, so without further ado, we will go on to the next recipe. And this recipe I love because you can really get creative with hummus. Many of you may have made your own hummus in the past. Now you can make hummus with chickpeas, with white beans, with black beans. It's a bevy of options with hummus. So I'm doing a sweet pea hummus with mint. So it's a minty sweet pea hummus. And this hummus I came upon because I love using peas in spring. And those baby spring peas are just so fresh and so tasty. And they impart such nice color to this hummus. So really what we're going to do, now you can use frozen peas, and I thawed these. Okay, so use about 16 ounces, which is typically a bag of frozen peas. Okay, so you're going to use frozen peas thawed. And then you're gonna put in garlic cloves. Now I've peeled these already. There is a little tip on this. You can certainly take off the little end, but I've pre-peeled these. Okay, and you can leave it whole. Sometimes I help out my food processor, and I just cut it in half so that it can blend it throughout more easily. And then I'm going to put some mint in here. So this adds such nice, so just 4 leaves of mint. Now, if you want it mintier, please feel free to add more mint. So this is a wonderful aromatic herb. Love mint. So great for us. Great for our breath too. So it's a natural breath freshener, which I love. And you can use the stem, put the whole thing in, put the stem in, the whole 9 yards can go in there. So, and then we're going to use extra virgin olive oil in this as well. So we're going to use 2 tablespoons extra virgin olive oil. So the nice thing about this dish as well is you make it all in one vessel. A food processor, which I absolutely love. So you're going to get your olive oil in there. Now, tahini is the secret ingredient. So tahini is sesame seed paste. So if anyone's ever tried this plain, it's very bland and it doesn't have much flavor. So I like to add it to things when I can, and it's great in desserts. Has anyone made a tahini brownie? They're amazing. So you can add it to chocolate. It goes so nicely. And tahini is, like I said, sesame seed paste. It adds a fat flavor to this, obviously, because sesame seeds have those beneficial fats in them. And you go and also, I'm sorry, you're going to add some sea salt. So I like to use sea salt in this. It's a little bit of a larger granule. And I kind of eyeball it in this, half a teaspoon. You're going to add a little, just 1 or 2 turns of that, not too much. But you
Victoria.
can. Yes.
Oops. Hey, sorry, just quick
Yes.
question.
Yes.
Where would you buy tahini? Like in the grocery store, what aisle would it be in?
Very good question. And I actually found this in sort of the ethnic food section. Now, I buy tahini at Trader Joe's, and it's in sort of where the nut butters are. I have also found it where they keep marinades, sort of their spices and marinades. You can buy it in Trader Joe's, but I found it in my other grocer by the kind of in the ethnic food section, because it is a Mediterranean type of food. So by the olives and that kind of foods, but it's in every grocery store. I have found it.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. You don't have to go to a special grocery store to buy it. Yeah.
Yeah, I hate going to
Good
the grocery
question.
store, period, let alone a special one. But okay, thank you. I was just wondering.
Right. It's interesting because I looked originally by the nut butters and it wasn't by the peanut butter. I found it in the Mediterranean section, like kind of by the Asian, Indian kind of food section, and then a little bit over. So you can check it out there. You can also
Awesome.
you can also ask someone at the grocery store, like I like to do. So then you're going to, and then if needed, you will add a tablespoon or 2 of water to this because it may need a little more liquid. So then you're just going to pulse it. Okay. And the peas have a lot of water in them as well. So you'll get a lot of liquid from the peas. There you go. And it takes a little while. Then what you're going to do is stir it halfway through. It is starting to thicken up nicely and becoming a hummus-like consistency. So I happen to love hummus, so I use it for a lot of different dishes. And we'll talk about that. There you go. So depending upon how thick or smooth you like it, you can make it a little more chunky, a little more smooth, and it is just about ready to go. Actually, I thawed the peas for quite a while, and that's the key, is that you really want the peas to be nicely thawed in this dish. Okay, one more. So then if you've made your own, notoriously hummus is made with chickpeas. So you can do this recipe using chickpeas versus sweet peas if you'd like to. So then, add this to a nice bowl if you're serving it, or even just, your family can enjoy it. in a nice bowl. And, I'll serve this with whole grain crackers. I love to have it with whole grain crackers, or you can do it with radish slices, another great way to use your spring veggies. And you can also do it with baby carrots. I will dip mushroom slices. I don't know if anyone's done that, but white button mushrooms, I like to dip in hummus. So I will do that for this as well. So there's minty sweet pea hummus, and then you can top it with a couple of sprigs of mint. And I did note on here that you can also, and I believe it's on the back of my sheet here, but you can also add smoked paprika to it. You can add cumin to give it a little additional flavor. So it does give it a little more flair if you add a little more spice to it. So if you do like it spice, a little dash of chili powder, if you'd like, to give it a little zip. So you might like it a little more spicy or not, just depending. So there is a minty sweet pea hummus. Any questions? I would love to take some questions. Anybody? Take yourself off mute. You can ask away about any spring vegetables, anything that you'd like about the recipes. Any questions here? No, everyone's so quiet. Everyone's so quiet.
I'll ask a question.
Sure.
So, farro, you said that was a gluten-based product. So how can you substitute that?
Yes, you can use quinoa if you'd like. I don't know if you've heard of sorghum. That's another gluten-free grain that may work well in this dish. Why I like to use farro is because it kind of has a nutty, chewy texture, and it really works well with the baby kale. But I would think quinoa would work fantastically too in this dish.
Did you put the farro in the salad, or you're serving it just with the salad?
Good question. I put it in the salad. So, you could also.
I think I have the best questions.
Excuse me? You have the best, yes.
I have the best questions.
What you can do is, if you don't want to put the grain in, say you want to put it on the side, absolutely, you can have it on the side. But I think it works really nicely in the salad. So it kind of makes it a meal. It does kind of make it a meal. So you can certainly do that. You can serve it with, if you want to add more protein to it, add some tofu to it, add some sliced grilled chicken breast, add a little piece of salmon on top, would be so beautiful. So you can certainly add some more protein to the dish if you like. Any other questions? I see something about hummus.
Victoria,
yeah. Yes.
I like, because what I like in my salad and what my husband likes in his salad sometimes has two different things. So I make your basic mixed green vegetable salad, and then I make my salad bar a buffet of onions and chopped up peppers and mushrooms, and sometimes either corn or peas or beets and radishes and whatever you want. And then we put in what we want to put in, but so that I can use that farro as one of the mixed things you can put in, or maybe you can put it on the side. We can put sliced chicken and stuff like that. So that way everybody's happy, because not everybody likes what y'all put in one salad. So you make your own. So make your own salad bar.
And that is wonderful to add. Yes, because you can get so creative with salads and put whatever you like in a salad, but you're right, not everyone enjoys that or can eat everything that goes into your salad. So I like that you've done that, almost like separating out the ingredients and making them separate, that you can add sort of like a salad bar, and doing that for family members would be wonderful, or guests if you're having a group over. So it really is nice to have that option. Does anyone else here make their own salad dressing? I'd love to hear what people put in their salad dressing, because to me, that's the creative piece of this, is that you can make so many different types of dressings and using different flavor profiles. I've used pomegranate juice in dressings. You can make it such a different flavor sensation just by the dressing itself.
I make my own salad dressing. this is Vera, by the way,
Oh,
but
yes.
I tend not to like mustard, so I use nuts. So I use cashew a lot. So I'll use cashew, olive oil, lemon juice, a little bit of salt and pepper, and just mix it together and blend it because of the cashew. And just use it. That also tastes amazing for me. So yeah.
I love it. And I love that you're using lemon juice. You do need an acid in salad dressing. So that's such a nice flavor. Lemon goes so well with so many different things. And for salad dressing, it works perfectly. Thank you for sharing that. Anybody else, salad dressings that you like to make?
My favorite is Asian, like a sesame soy with a little garlic, maybe a little ginger if I'm feeling highly motivated. But just
Yes.
I will make a big jar and use it throughout the week. I like it spicy food, but this is one of my go-to. Another one is the lemon garlic, little honey dressing that also sort of goes with the Mediterranean flavors. But it's so nice to have 2 or 3. My daughter loves balsamic vinaigrette,
Yes.
classic, right? So I have like few jars of like, make your pick. The salad could be the same, it's just a different flavoring, but it does make a difference, definitely.
It does. I love balsamic vinegar too. A good balsamic vinegar goes so nicely in a dressing. But I too, Joanna, will use sesame oil a lot in various dressings because it does impart such beautiful flavor and such a nice scent to the dressing as well. So, and feel free to use herbs and spices in your dressings. I mean, you can chop up various herbs. Rosemary goes nicely in dressings, as well as mint as well, and cilantro and basil. So feel free to use herbs in your salad dressing.
I have a question that basically goes with the dates. I I like dates. I've tried it before, but it's not my favorite, so I couldn't stick with it. Mainly because of the root taste of it. I don't like that. Do you have any recommendations on how to roast it for it to taste basically like a normal thing without the root taste?
Oh, are you talking about beets?
Oh, sorry. Yes, beets.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, when you said root, I was thinking it must be beets. Yes, I mean, you can certainly put different, based it in olive oil with a little bit of, salt and pepper or even garlic powder. You can make it a little more sweet too, and even drizzle a little maple syrup on it to give it a little different flavor. It is the fresh beets are very rooty tasting. They do have a stronger flavor. So it's going to be a matter of what you flavor it with yourself. So I find that these, maybe you want to try the ones that are already pre-marinated or pre-cooked because they have a more delicate flavor and they don't have that strong, really strong root flavor to them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I like juicing a lot. So I try to make juice with basically regular beets. Walmart tends to have great basically they look beautiful there. But then whenever I get it, I'm like, oh my God, they look nice, but I feel like I wasted my money on it.
Right. Yeah. And they are beautiful. They're definitely impart such nice flavor, but you're right. You do have to roast them. You do have to make them soft. Now, when you juice them, do you juice them raw?
Yes, I do. So I juice them with usually lemons, ginger, and some cucumbers. So that's basically what I put into juice it. But then the cucumber tastes and the lemon cannot, I mean the ginger cannot even knock it out enough.
Right. I was going to say it does sound delicious. It sounds refreshing, but you're right. It's a strong flavor. That root really does come out. So I don't know, maybe even roasting it before you juice it. I'm not sure, even roasting it by itself, like without flavoring it and seeing if that would kind of soften up the flavor before you put it in with the other vegetables.
Okay, I'll certainly try it. Thank you.
It might help. I have not juiced beets, so I'd be curious to hear how that works.
Okay.
Any other questions? You guys have had such great questions. And hopefully you'll get creative with salads and you,
I like cooked beets because they're sweeter. I grow my beets. So, I harvest them that day. Yellow, the orangish yellow and the red. But my husband likes them raw because they're peppery and very spicy. And he likes it that way. And I like them cooked. But you can buy powdered root beets. And it's powdered and you put a scoop of that in your juicing.
yes.
And
I
that's
have
it
seen
takes away that.
Yes, there are a couple of brands that do powder beets.
Yeah. So that's pretty good.
And have you used it in your smoothies or your
We've used it in smoothies. If you add cucumbers and some mint or parsley, it gives it a cooling taste. So
Great.
you could try it that way.
Such a good
Okay.
suggestion, such a good suggestion. Yes, yeah, and the beauty of the powdered is you can get some of those medicinal benefits. You just have to be careful of, what brand you're purchasing or what if it's actually the beet that they're using. So you want to make sure when you buy these types of supplements that it's actually the real whole food that they're using. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Any other questions? This has been great.
I have one little remark about beets. So beets are quite interesting, and a lot of athletes or some athletes use beets prior to performance because it enhances oxygen
Yes.
uptake. So basically, it's sort of like almost performance enhancer. It's not a drug, but there's a compound in it that helps with it. So it's interesting. Some people respond to a little almost, it's not a rush, but it has that like little oomph to it.
Yeah.
Definitely when people make juices, vegetable juices, beets are part of it. So I guess maybe that could be it. But the research shows actually increased oxygen use up to 20% when beets are consumed. Also can lower blood pressure, which is interesting. So
Yes.
there's so many benefits. I am originally from Poland, and in Poland or eastern part of Europe, we use beets a lot for soups. And the soup in Ukrainian or Russia or Poland calls borscht or borscht.
Right? Borscht,
Yeah,
right?
different
Yes.
pronunciation, and it's such a classic dish. So the traditional, we call it Ukrainian borscht or beet soup is you cook it's when you get from the garden, you cook the beets and you put beans into it and you put some little meat to have a more flavor, but it's like sort of a lot of vegetables, beets and beans. And some people even put a little sauerkraut to make it a little bit tangy. And you so there are many different recipes, but in my when I was growing up, we had borscht often on our table. So it's very healthy. It's not maybe as appreciated here because it's sort of
Right.
a challenging vegetables to cook, but find a recipe for beet soup and it's delicious. It's beautiful in color, as you know, and
Yes.
it does not give you so much that earthy flavor in a soup, but roasting is as you mentioned, it's
Now, I have a question about borscht. Is it cold or is it warm? Is
it's
it
warm. It's
It's
warm.
It's a warm soup. Okay, I have not made borscht, but I've loved to try it at some point because I know it's very big in European cultures.
It
Yeah.
is, and there's another type of borscht we serve for Christmas Eve, and it's a clear. And the way how you do it, you get the beets, you ferment them first, so you made like a starter, fermented, so it gives you the tangy flavor. and then you cook the beets with bunch of vegetables, you strain it, so you have a clear broth, beet broth, so to speak, and you serve it with a little ravioli stuffed with mushrooms. So this is a classic Christmas Eve dish that on 99% tables in Poland you can find it. That dish.
Yum.
It's a quite, cultural, a little bit different. Anyhow.
Yeah. And what I was going to say about for athletes, because it imparts nitric oxide in the blood vessels, that's what the performance enhancer is. And there's a lot of fruits and vegetables that do that, but beets are notoriously known for that. So many athletes will drink beet juice. Yeah, which is great. But yeah, so you can certainly add beets to various things, soups and salads, and roast them with other veggies. And that's going to be a great thing, or add them to smoothies like some of you are all doing, which I think is really beneficial. Anybody else? Questions? This has been so great.
Somebody asked, I don't think they were able to unmute themselves, about using sour cream. And I'm thinking, isn't that a little heavier? But they wanted to use sour cream.
Sour cream for what? For
In their salad dressing.
Oh, well, if it's a creamy type dressing, I sometimes will put yogurt, plain Greek yogurt in my dress, like a little, just a hint to give it a little more cream base feeling to it. I don't typically use sour cream, but that's an old world thing that my grandmother used to make sour cream cucumbers. She would finely chop cucumbers and add sour cream and dill to the salad. And Barbara's agreeing. My grandmother was Slovak, so she would make a lot of these Slavic dishes, and that was one of them: sour cucumbers and sour cream. So yes, but for dressings, I use yogurt sometimes, and will add a little bit just to give it a little cream, like a creamy feel. I'm
learning to use, instead of sour cream now, I'm substituting Greek plain yogurt.
Yes.
So when I made deviled eggs the other day and with avocado and stuff, I used Greek yogurt instead of the sour cream. That's what I would have normally done.
And I do that quite often. If I'm making chicken salad, tuna salad, I will use plain Greek yogurt, dollop it in there with once again, I add a little Dijon to it, and some shallot, and it really does make a nice salad with chicken or tuna. Anybody else? This has been great. So hopefully you're all coloring your plates. That's what I like to tell people for spring, and adding lovely spring veggies to your meals, and getting creative with it is really the important part of this. So hopefully you all learned something, and there are some, you'll use some of the recipes that I've made tonight, and hopefully you'll get creative. I'd love to hear from you if you do.
May I ask one more question?
Sure.
With your peas, I am growing both the snow peas and then the peas that you shell. And they usually don't make it into the house. I eat them right on the vine. But if I grow enough and I bring them in the house, can I use the snow peas, the whole pea pod?
You know what, you probably could if you really blend it well. It might be a little fibrous because that outer shell is very fibrous. So honestly, you can experiment with that. I think it may actually, the texture might be a little bit different. It might be a little more chunky and not as smooth, but you can certainly try that. You can certainly try it. I mean, the sweet pea is just so delicate and soft, and it blends so nicely that's why I like to use it for hummus.
Okay.
But let me know if you do try that.
I will. Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Anybody else? This has been great.